Shalom. This is Shalom from the Great Millstone Atlanta camp. Before I get started in this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace, love, and safety to the hopeful elect. All right, this is going to be a short video based off of what happened in Texas this weekend. And so basically, as you see on the screen, this is CNN.com, by the way. 8 people were killed from a mass shooter. And it looks like, if not all of them, most of them were Issachar. So the Lord is starting to bring that judgment on his people. All right, you so-called Mexicans, you go back to the tribe of Issachar. All right, you're not Hispanic, you're not Latino, you're not none of that. You're a Hebrew Israelite. So the Lord is going to keep bringing this judgment on our people until we can get our stuff together. So this was a shooter killed 8 people, and then there was another 8 or 9. Here it is. And this is in Texas also. Death toll increases to 8 after car plows into a crowd in front of a Texas shelter that was housing immigrants. So that could have been, it possibly could have been Esau doing a hate crime, because Esau hate us Israelites, man. You know, he would take his car and see a group of Israelites, whether it's Judah, Issachar, Ephraim. It don't matter who you are. Esau hates you. He hates all of us. Esau being a so-called white man. All right. So he would take his car and ram it into a crowd, see how many kills he gets, and then say it was a mistake or the car had a malfunction. That's Esau for you. He'll get off on it. Yep. So so 8 people were hit by this guy in his Range Rover in Texas. And also, let's go back. The video is 1 minute 44 seconds long, if you didn't see that. 144 in there. And also 8 people shot and killed today in Texas. This guy went on a shooting spree and started mowing people down. All right, so his name right here, Garcia, 33-year-old, most likely Issachar. All right, hey, but the demon jumped on this guy and made him want to go shoot some people up. So that's 16 people that died, and I guess you can almost call it a freak accident. So pretty much the whole reason for this video is because tragedy is not uncommon. Tragedy is very common these days. There was a mass shooting in Atlanta earlier this week. It was Jake too, and it could have been a false flag because it's a lot of that going out, but we don't know. To me, it don't seem like a real shooting. It's just the details around it. But we never know. We don't know. But that happened over here in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And you don't really hear about that. I wouldn't call it it was a mass shooting because 5 people got shot, only 1 died. But normally when a lot of these mass shootings go off, you see stuff like this: 8 people killed. 8 people killed. A bunch more wounded in the hospital. So these things like this is very common these days. And I want to say around the last past 4 years, 3 years, since this so-called pandemic hit, a lot of this stuff that's been going on, people just, wake up the next morning and hear about something new. All right, the sun goes down, you kind of forget about it. Wake up the next morning, it's something new. And it's always a tragedy. All right, it's been a lot of bombings, bombings over in Israel, bombings over in Ukraine. It's getting worse and worse, and people just it's so common now. People just don't want to. They just don't care. All right, let's get some scriptures, and this is Second Ezra 15, and I'm gonna go down to verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Yeah, it's gonna be destruction all over the planet. If you dwelling on the earth, you're gonna see this destruction happening. And it's not it don't necessarily have to be a nuclear bomb. It can just be a plague that lays down thousands of people. Probably millions of people, depending on how big the area is. It could be a civil war. It could be a result of World War III. It can be the famine that's about to hit. All of these things that's coming at once. It's like this world is preparing your mind for what's to come, preparing you to not really care about a lot of these mass shootings, about terror, destruction, war, all of these things. People don't really. It doesn't really hit you like it would, 15, 20 years ago. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." That's pretty much talking about war, civil war, any type of battle where you have weapons in your hands and you in one group and then you standing up against another group fighting them. That's going to happen on American soil. A lot of people don't believe that this civil war is going to break off. It's going to happen. All right. It's a lot more things that needs to come across to really amp Esau up. And a lot of stuff needs to come across to really amp up Jake. And then it's going to be other Edomites against other Edomites. It's going to be Jake against Jake. This place is just so divided. You might choose a side and be by yourself. All right. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Yeah, because of this stuff all of this chaos is going to cause the cities to shut down. After a while, it's not going to be any news reporters telling you how many people got murdered. It's going to be so common. They're not even going to report the news on it. It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Yeah, a lot of men are afraid now. Living around these violent areas, and it ain't even really the area. It's because anything can happen anywhere. You have shootings in the richest part of Atlanta, which is Buckhead, over at Lennox Mall. That's one of the most violent malls as far as shootings. And it used to be a good area, but now it's you got a lot of violence over there. It says I'm gonna continue to read. I'm gonna go down a little bit. Verse 19: "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation." This is going to come to pass. And like I said, it's going to be the times that we're going into. It's like it's gradually happening. When have Texas seen that many people die in two separate incidents at the same time? And I didn't even really hear about it like that. I just happened to, look at I think I was on ABC News first, and then I went to CNN. Yeah, I just happened to look at those two websites, and they had it up there. I'm like, damn, you think this would be, a lot bigger than what it is, but they didn't make it that big because it's so coming. Let's go to Second Ezra 16. It says in verse 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right. So, like I said, people are gradually getting their minds ready. Well, actually, the world, this really it's the Lord doing this, but the world is getting you prepared for what's about to happen by showing you little by little, and once next thing you know, it's going to be all out. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Yeah, so with all this going on, people are still going to be doing the same thing, living the same wicked ass life. You Israelites are not going to try and come back to your power, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You still going to be just still being a nigga. In survival mode on the left hand side. And you're not going to make it. The only way out of this trouble is through Yahweh Shai. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. Until the next time, I want to say shalom. Also, double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us the truth. And peace, love, and safe to the hopeful elect. All right. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom.